All right, Padres pregame thoughts. Padres and the Seattle Mariners, the final game of this mini two-game set. Emerson Hancock is on the mound for the Mariners. Darvish is on the mound for the Padres. This feels like a must-win game. I know it's not actually a must-win game because the Padres will still be in the hunt in a postseason spot if they lose because the teams ahead of them aren't playing that great of baseball. The Cubs are, but I'm talking about like the Diamondbacks, the Reds, the Marlins, not playing too great. We'll see what happens in that Cubs game tonight against the New York Mets. The Cubs, I believe, have that final wild card spot right now. Padres 4 games back. So, yes, it's not actually a must-win game, but when you look at the matchup, Darvish, he's one of the Padres' aces. We're expecting 6, 7 innings, quality start out of Darvish. You just had a bad series loss to the Los Angeles Dodgers. You just got shut out in the first game of this series. And you're facing a dude who has never pitched in the big leagues before. Now, Emerson Hancock, I do want to provide some context. He's had some really good outings in the minor leagues. The 4+ ERA, I don't think that tells the entire story, but I'm not going to blame you if you think this is a must-win game for the Padres. Again, because Darvish is pitching for the Padres, they need a win, and they're facing a guy that's making his major league debut, and you're looking at just the 4+ ERA. You're looking at only that stat in the minor leagues. But he is the Mariners' top pitching prospect. So I want fans to know that going in. I don't want fans to think that this guy is a really bad pitcher and they're bringing him up for a spot start. I don't want fans to think that this is like Jackson Wolf in the Padres organization, kind of like that for the Mariners. No, this is like if Mackenzie Gore was still in the organization, he comes up to make his big league debut. I think there's still some expectations with Emerson Hancock for Seattle Mariners fans and those in that organization. But still, the Padres should win this game. No doubt about that. I just want to provide some context there. We got Ha-Seong Kim leading off for the Padres. He's playing second. Tatis, Soto, Manny. Manny's still at third. Bogart's at short. Crony's at first. G-Man Choi's DHing. Campy's catching. Grish's in center. Problems with the lineup. I think fans are going to be in the comments here. Why is Luis Campusano and Gary Sanchez both not in the lineup? Why is only one in the lineup? And I understand that frustration. And to be honest, that's where I stand on it. I'm on that side. I think the Padres need wins. I think that Gary and Campy should be in the lineup. If G-Man Choi's not getting the job done, and offensively he's not, if Garrett Cooper isn't getting the job done offensively, they haven't done things that have, made them have to be in the lineup, right? And Gary and Campy, they're playing very well offensively. And obviously either of them are going to be catching on one night. So I think they need the best offense, the best lineup out there. And I think that having Gary and Campy both in the lineup every day, that's the best offense. And one of them that's not catching, they can go hit. I don't think that's going to kill them to go hit. Now, I know the Padres, and this don't kill the messenger here, but the Padres are doing this because they don't have a third catcher. They don't want to lose a DH if one of them gets hurt, I would assume. And Bob Melvin, I believe he said this in the past, they don't want to have Gary or Campy. If both are in the lineup every day, then he thinks maybe they'll lose their effectiveness because they're going to be playing every day. And he thinks that part of the reason why they're having success is because they're having some games off. They're having some time off to rest and recover. He has said that to the media before here. I'm not going to point to a specific date because, to be honest, I don't have a specific date or exactly when he said that. But I do remember him saying that and saw that quote somewhere about, he likes that they're being fresh, and that could be why we're seeing them perform well. But when they're performing well and other guys aren't, I think they should be in the lineup every day, right? Now, with Choi and Cooper, another thing is I think they continue to be in the lineup because they just got to the Padres, and the Padres brought those guys in to be designated hitters. So I don't think they're going to just give up on those guys and not have those guys DH when they brought them in to DH. It's kind of like the beginning of the year where they kept having Carp and Cruz either DH, right? Either one of those guys DH, and just things weren't working there, and so obviously Cruz ended up being gone, and now Carpenter hasn't played in a couple weeks, right? Still on the roster, veteran presence, but hasn't played. They're It took them time to realize that, and it might take them time to realize Choi and Cooper aren't helping this Padres team offensively. I'm not giving up on those guys. I'm just saying, based on the results so far, small sample size, but based on the results, those guys have not had a huge impact positively to this Padres lineup. Where, Campy and Gary, it's pretty obvious that they do, right? My underdog fantasy pick, I'm going to go Darvish, 94.5 pitches, higher on that. Doesn't feel like a lot of pitches there for Darvish. He can get that. And the bullpen situation is kind of why that's part of my answer. Hader, 19 pitches yesterday. He's going to pitch if they're in that situation that, they have a lead in the ninth inning. Suarez, I would think, would pitch, but Barlow's down. Wilson should pitch. Like, the bullpen, it's not in a terrible spot, but it's also Darvish, and he's probably going to be like, well, if I don't get through 6 innings here, that's not a successful start for me. He's probably going to want to go 7. Give the bullpen even more rest with the day off after that before the D-back series. And there's a long stretch, I believe, after this day off. There's a long stretch without them having a day off. So he's probably going to look at that and be like, yeah, give me the ball, Blowmel. I'll tell you when I'm good. So I like the chances of the Padres being in position to win this game starting pitching-wise, looking at the matchup with Darvish on the mound. It's going to come down to the bullpen late, and I think it's going to come down to, obviously, the offense. Can they get something going? Can they get something together against Emerson Hancock, who has not pitched in the big leagues before?